Hello, it's Rowan with another tutorial. Today we're going to work on something called Trace Genius. It takes a image and it will trace it in Blender. If you have the add-on, you will need to go to, um, I have forgotten where you need to go because that's what happens when preferences. Haha! Install, and then you find wherever you have it and you install it. I'll show you the ones that I have. I have a lot installed, but I have Avastar, Trace Genius right here, and see, woo, Trace Genius, and it'll add to your side. You'll see you've got Tool, Rigging, Avastar, Trace Genius. So you're going to delete this square in the middle, open image, go to the image that you've decided you want to do. And no, I don't think I saved it. See, this is what I got. I'm going to save it as, oh, I did save it as Hey Boo Ping. We'll save it again. Woo. See, it's a black and white image. Pretty easy. We'll go to Blender and it's probably down here somewhere. I have a lot of stuff. Hey Boo, yay! Load. It's going to show up here. And you want to trace shape. See how it filled in this, just the black areas? It tends to do that. If you wanted it to be the other way, you would have to delete this one, hit invert, and then trace shape, and it would do just the gray bits. It would just do the white parts on the inside, but we don't want that, so we're going to delete that. Invert, trace shape. Now that is really flat, so we want to add geometry. Um, I like to poof it up, usually about 1.5 meters. That's just sort of what seems to work well for me. That's for me. Uh, and I do like to give it a little bevel because I like a little softness. If you want it a little more round, and if you do the resolution a little bit higher, that is going to up the number of vertices in your mesh, which, most people don't want. If you're trying to do something that's got this real thin stuff, you don't want to do too much of a bevel because the bevel just seems to make it smooshy like that, and you won't be able to see what you're doing. Um, I think that looks good for me, depending on what I'm going to do with it. If this is going to be a sign, I'll leave it like this, and that'll be good. And then you hit finalize, and that actually turns it into the mesh. And then you click on the picture and delete that because it's a plane. And there you have it. That is your mesh. Now it's not going to be great. So if you go to your Avastar, and you click on Mesh Inspector, it's going to tell you that that is a lot. That is a lot of tries. It's going to be like, that's going to be like 700 Li when you take it in. Actually, SL will not even let you upload that because it's so many. So what do? We go to edit mode. Go up here to mesh and you can see all the vertices. You're like, that's a lot of vertices. Go up here to mesh, clean up, and decimate. It's going to pop up this little thing down here. And so start with 0.5. That's half. And it shouldn't, if you click the little truck, see your tries are down to 95,000, which is still a lot. But it doesn't seem to have hurt your mesh very much in the way it looks. So let's go with 0.2. That's going to give us some great. See, it doesn't seem to have really hurt your mesh. We could probably even go lower without losing any quality. Let's go 0.1. Yeah, still looks good, and we're at 19,000 tries. So that is awesome. Okay, so we want to take this into SL, right? Well, the if you're going to take it into SL to use, you want to be able to texture it, right? So you got to go to your UV editor, and you look at this and you're like, whoa, that is some crazy crap, right? So you want to go to the texture and you want to click Add, New, and you want to call this All, because you have to have a material for all first, and then click Assign, and make sure that link is linked. Now, we're hitting Face. We're going to select all the flat faces. That's just what I like to do. I like to have the front be a face. So I'm going to click all of these pieces. This is kind of a quick and dirty. It's not exactly, I'm not being really um, exact with this. I'm just showing you the basics. It's a quick tutorial. If I wanted to do a lot more, I probably could, but I'm not in the mood. So this tutorial shouldn't last you more than like 5-10 minutes. This is just to get you started. Once you know more about Blender, you can do your own. So now we've collected all those faces, we're going to go up to Edge, and we're going to mark Seam. So that's going to turn that all into a seam. So then we will hit the U for Unwrap, and we will click Unwrap. You want to have at least a little bit of a margin. I forgot one step. Let's go back. Control Z. Control Z is your friend in Blender. Control Z is undo. Now that we've marked those as a seam, we're going to click A so it selects all. A for all. Now we're going to U for unwrap. We're going to click unwrap. And it's unwrapped the whole thing. Isn't that awesome? Now if you don't like the way that unwrapped is, you can Control Z, click U again, and do Smart. And you want to give your margins a 0.001. And then click OK. So that's a little bit nicer. That's a little bit nicer, a little bit easier to deal with, right? There you go. Now it's unwrapped. Now if you want to go and because it's 19,000 tries, it can all be one face. If you want to set up a separate face, then you can come up here with that, and on face, select face, and then down here in your UV map you have the sync function clicked, and then you click all the front pieces. Click all the pieces that you want to be one face. Like if you want all those but not the smiley faces, not the ghost faces, then you come over here, click plus, and then you name it whatever, like front assign. So now watch, deselect. Select that and it won't. All this material for all is now everything minus whatever you put as the second one. Now you have two faces, two materials. Okay, so we've got it done this far. Let's go ahead and make sure we are in. We have all. We're going to go back to object mode. We're going to export it as a Kaleida. And we're going to name it Hey Boo. We're going to do selection only. Make sure you have that clicked, because sometimes if you have something else like if you're doing multiple meshes at the same time, or you've got a reference item in there, like if I had left that flat piece that the Trace Genius started with as the image, it would select that too, and that would be weird. So you want selection only, which is only the thing that you have selected. Export. Now we're going to go here. We're going to go to build, upload. You can do a local mesh if you want, but I don't even need to do that much. Did you export it? Where did I export it to? Documents. Why do I do documents? Ugh. Documents. There it is. Hey boo. And what does SL say about it? It says, it's so cute. Now we're going to calculate our weights and fees. And it'll also see it's 32 lindens, but it's also 77 land impact. So we're going to go over here to our upload options, and we're going to realize that it is 4 meters by 4 meters. That's a huge. So we're going to take it down to 0.5, which makes it 2 meters by 2 meters, and we'll see what the land impact is then. 31, still a little high. So go to the lowest, click that to 0. Calculate weights and fees. We're still at 16 land impact. I could go back to Blender and I could go back to edit mode and I could go back to mesh and clean up and decimate it some more. 0.05, but it's gonna start getting a little wonky. So let's go back to 0.1. You see your tries have dropped down to, because we've already dropped it to 0.1. So let's go ahead and we'll go to 0.5. See that's that's still pretty good. I would say it still looks pretty good to me. Don't think we've lost too much. Let's go ahead and object mode, export as a Kaleida. We'll do hey boo, do it again. Now we'll go back to SL, close that, build, upload, mesh model. Hey boo! And now we'll see what it says. Now it says, oh, it's still huge. It's still 4 meters by 4 meters, so let's do 0.5. It's a 9, and it's only 17 lindens. Let's take that 0. Now we'll see. It should be pretty good. That's not bad. 9 land impact is not bad. Because when you bring it in, you're going to notice that it's pretty big. So I could have made it smaller, but I didn't. So what you gonna do? But there you go. And you can see it looks really good. Like I said, that's me. It's huge compared to me. It is 2 meters by 2 meters. I could have made it smaller and uploaded it as like 1 meter, but zoom. I mean, if you take it down to size, down to a decent size, like if you wanted to put it on your wall as like, look at my decor for Halloween. You make it like zero point 0.5 by zero point 0.5, and the land impact is 10. So it just really depends. You can flatten it, flirp. And we could have decimated it some more. What it really affects the LI is when we were doing the Trace Genius in the geometry, the resolution of the bevel. Because when you do the bevel, it adds all sorts of vertices in this area, where the bevel is. It just adds all sorts of vertices in there. You don't see it now because we've decimated it so much, but that bevel has got lines, 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 vertices, vertices, vertices. So, but that is Trace Genius. Um, you can, I like it. I think it's fun. I made some cute, like I did a spider and some other stuff. It's a lot of fun to play with. If you have anything that you like, which broom? Ta-da! We'll do trace shape, add geometry, and then I only use a resolution of 4 because I tend to make these really small for like earrings and jewelry and stuff. So I don't do too much resolution and beveling. And if you look at Avastar on this, it'll tell you that just this basic broom is only 6,400, and the item is almost a meter wide by 4 meters long. So even if I took that into SL, it would be huge, but the land impact would be a lot less. So it just depends on how many vertices you get. So that is Trace Genius. It's fun. Um, Play around with it. Do what you make some cool stuff. Okay, thanks guys.